Welcome out to the show today, guys. This is Studio 321. It's your host, Eddie B. So the big, beautiful bill finally passed. Man, they battled all night over it. I know Hakeem Jeffries did some speech to stall things for like 8 hours. They went back and forth a bunch. Finally, they got all the votes they needed. The Republicans got a narrow pass on it, and the bill's going into law. Now, what's in the bill, okay? I'd be lying if I told you I knew everything that's in the bill. It's 900-something pages, and the truth is I'm not going to read the whole thing. I've looked at some of the main points, which are the really important points for me anyways, and I'll go over a couple of those. So I'll go over a couple of those points with you. So number one for me was the no tax on tips. Everybody knows that I work in the bar business. People who work for me work in the bar business. And the no tax on tips, that's big, man. You know what I'm saying? And look, nowadays a lot of businesses have tipping in the businesses because what happened was some years back, they made minimum wage for tipping businesses a lot lower than regular minimum wage. So a lot of places that didn't offer tipping in the past went ahead and started offering tipping so they could do a lower minimum wage, which helped the businesses. But now the no tax on tips is going to help the employees as well. Okay, so love that part. No tax on overtime. That's a big deal also. I mean, look, people working over 40 hours a week, man, those are usually the people who need the money. Okay, they're working extra hours because they don't make enough. And they're trying to get some overtime in to take care of that extra bill, or pay that car payment, pay that rent. So it's really nice to give them the no tax on overtime. That's going to put some extra money in people's pockets. And that's actually a lot more money than people realize, because overtime money is usually pretty big and the tax goes up on that pretty quickly. So no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. I love it. Okay. Now, I would say the support for the bill is like 70-30, right? 70% love it, 30%, they're not so keen on it. Mostly all the Democrats oppose it, but they oppose everything that you try to do. So we'll leave that out of it. So why do the people oppose it? Well, and I understand this, really. There's fiscal hawks. These are the guys that all they care about is the numbers. Are you spending more than you're bringing in? They don't want to build up any debt. They're very keen on that type of streamlining of the economy. And those are the guys that opposed it because over the next 10 years, they're saying it could add a couple $1 trillion to the budget deficit, which is $37 trillion right now. Okay. That's what we owe. Okay. So obviously, they do have real concerns. Now, Trump's plan is to grow the economy so big that it swallows up that extra $2 trillion, in deficit, and so that it won't matter. And look, that's quite possible as well. It just depends on how you look at things. Trump's gamble is that he's going to make the economy so strong, and we're going to start making so much money that extra $2 trillion isn't going to matter. Okay. All right, so now look, let's put that into context. Let's say you owed somebody $500, right? Well, if you only made $2,000 a month, it'd be hard to pay that $500 back. But if you owed somebody $500 and you made $20,000 a month, paying that $500 back would be nothing. That's the same way Trump's looking at the economy. He's looking to grow that economy so that it makes so much money that paying that $2 trillion back is nothing. Okay. And look, I hope it works because I'm on his side. All right. So again, you got the both sides fighting over it. The fiscal hawks, they want to make sure that we're not spending too much money, which I understand, that's your Rand Paul types, your Thomas Massey's, and they're always a pain in the butt, man. They never vote yes on stuff, but I do understand why they do what they do. And you do want people around like that watching over the books so everybody else doesn't just spend crazy, okay? The other side of the guys, they're pro-growth. They want the economy to grow so fast and so big that we can absorb the debt and pay it off with no problem. I understand that side too. Now, over the last couple of weeks, you've heard both sides. They fought and who's right and who's wrong. Some people hate the bill. Some people like the bill. I'll tell you where I come in on this, and I'll tell you why I come in on it. I like the bill, okay? And the reason why is really for one reason, because remember, I haven't read the whole thing. I've read a lot of the important points that I think are important for normal folks, but I haven't read the whole thing. But here's the thing. Look at, and I watched the Republican say this the other night on TV. Look at the track record here, okay? Trump's been right about just about everything. Him and his group, because it's not just him. Him and his group, whether it's Bassett, who's his main economic advisor. Okay, Trump and his group have been right on a lot of stuff. A lot of times, everybody else said no, this wouldn't work. This and that. Remember when they said the tariffs were going to cause massive inflation and all these problems? Well, it didn't. Okay, Trump and his group said no, it's not. And he was right. So when you go back through the track record of who's been right and who's been wrong, Trump and his group have been right a lot more than they've been wrong. Okay? The tax break that Trump gave back in 2017, he said it was going to kick our economy into gear. And it really did. Okay? Now, obviously, COVID came after that in 2020 and it screwed everything up. But, that's a whole nother story. So I think that guy was dead right. You got to look at whose track record has been better. You know what I'm saying? Because you can find a million economic advisors and these guys and these pundits and news people and everybody that says how terrible the bill is, but the truth is they don't know, because they've said a lot of things were terrible and a lot of those things ended up being really good. Okay, so I'm sticking with the Trump camp on this one, and the truth is, if you go back. And look, I've been following Trump since 2015, when we first knew that he was going to run. I pretty much watch every move he's made because I was just intrigued by his behavior and how he acted and all this stuff about him. So I just wanted to see, what his thinking was. And what I realized is Trump has outsmarted just about everybody he's ever gone up against. He outthinks them. He does 100%. Now, they'll all say that's false because they don't want to look dumb. But the truth is, he completely wrecked the entire Democratic Party by himself. Look at them now. They're crumbling. They don't have no leadership. They don't know what to do. That was all Trump that did that, okay? And it's not an accident. It wasn't by accident. He's super smart. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to schmooze. He can manipulate things. He's very good at that type of business, and he has crushed his opponents by doing that. He does not like to lose. That's a fact, okay? He has done that for the last 10 years. He beats them at every turn. He's smarter than them. He always seems to be ahead. And look, I've never seen a Republican like that before. Trump's a one of a kind. He really is. But so I tend to believe what he says. I believe that his plan, and look, more than anything, he just hates to be wrong. So I know that he isn't just throwing this against the wind thinking something's going to happen. He believes that this is going to work. His group believes this is going to work, and I'm going to believe in them because, number one, I voted for them, and number two, their track record has been real solid on the stuff that they've done so far. So let's see what happens. It's going to take about a year, okay? It does. If you remember back in Trump's first term, it took some time for everything to get going, but I think he's cleared a lot of his hurdles recently, okay? He's gotten past a lot of this immigration stuff. The border's sealed now, so we don't have all those extra expenses of them coming in, having to deal with that. They've cut out a lot of these government programs that were wasting money, and they've downsized a lot of other government programs that were bloated. Okay, that's going to help save money as well. He's deregulated a lot of stuff in the government that slows down growth, so that's another thing. And then you add this bill on top of it, and all this starts churning together over time. I know the stock market's recovered, and this bill passing is going to give the stock market a huge boost. So, in my mind, the only thing left is the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, has to start dropping those interest rates. When he does that, okay, number one, the stock market's going to boom. But even if you're not in the stock market, housing market's going to boom again. That puts all the workers, construction people back to work. Everybody starts making money again, okay? all, the realtors, builders, contractors, suppliers. I mean, the whole bit. It's monstrous. When construction and home sales stops in America, it causes a lot of problems to our economy. We just need to get those interest rates down so that can take off again. Okay. And then we're gonna boom, man. The interest rates dropping will also, a lot of these people that have recently bought homes at too high of an interest rate will be able to refinance at a much lower rates, and they'll be able to save, maybe $500 to $1,000 a month on their mortgage, and that's a lot of money, a lot of spending money in people's pockets, so they can start buying things that they need for their homes. So anyways, we're going to see what happens over the next year. I'm super pumped about the bill passing. I'm glad it did. I thought it was going to. I knew it was going to be a bit of a fight. Again, not one Democrat voted for it, and a lot of times the fiscal hawks in the Republican Party, they don't vote for it either. But we got enough of them to come along to get it done, and I'm super stoked about it. We'll see what happens over the next year, and I think Trump's the guy for the job, and he's doing it well. So let's see what happens. Thanks for watching my video, guys. This is Eddie from Studio 321. I'll talk to you soon.